It was a tough one. It was a 10-1 loss for the Braves to the Athletics. Athletics came out literally swinging, scored all 10 of their runs in the first 3 innings. Atlanta, shell-shocked, could not do anything in game 1 of this series. Also, around the league, James Wood robbed a home run, but the Nats ultimately fell 4-2 to the Cardinals in St. Louis. Mets won 7-6 over the Orioles in 10 innings. The Yankees got a 10-3 win over the Mariners. And the Giants did something that has not been done since 2016. It was a walk-off winner for the Giants over the Phillies, an inside-the-park walk-off. Ended up being a 4-3 win for San Francisco over Philly. Dak Prescott said, quote, "I'm healthy as I'll be." He said that from his football camp in South Lake, Texas yesterday. He went on to say, "I'll be full go for camp. I'm healthy. I think soon here I'll probably get the official sign off from the doc, but I'm healthy." Prescott missed about half of last season with a hamstring injury, playing in just 8 games. In Formula One racing news, Christian Horner is out at Red Bull. Horner was the team principal and CEO for the last 2 decades. Now, it's been a bit of a rocky season, especially for that number 2 driver at Red Bull as they've rotated a couple through. And now hanging over the team, it's the future of Max Verstappen as he weighs his options for next season. All of that led to Christian Horner being ousted at Red Bull. And the Big East and ESPN reunited yesterday. The two sides inked a 6-year deal that's going to air 25 non-conference men's basketball Big East games, 75 women's basketball games, and 200 Olympic sports, all airing on ESPN+. ESPN and the Big East had a relationship from 1980 to 2013. Then the Big East jumped over to Fox Sports. This deal brings the two sides back together. That's what you may have missed overnight in the wide world of sports. Something else you missed. Norfolk Tides. Their pitcher got called for a balk because of thunder and lightning. It startled him. And so he was starting his windup to throw into the catcher. And the thunder hit right at the right time. And he flinched forward. He got called for a balk, which brought home a run. Might be the first time in baseball history. Yesterday, we were talking about how every time you watch a baseball game, you'll likely find something and see something that you have never seen before. And I've never seen God get credited with an RBI.
Oh, man. We could have used 9 of those last night.
Yeah, you could have used 9 of those. You could have used 11 of those. 10 of those.
That stinks, man. That's worth just getting tossed out for the principal, right? Yeah, like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that it happened to you anyway. You might as well just formulate some random argument and get tossed out.
This man really got called for a balk because the Thunder. You think they would use some common sense in that scenario and they would just say
no, the rules are the rules, man.
Yeah, but yeah, all right.
I'm just that's what they would always fall back to. The rules are the rules.
That's got to be God's first RBI, right?
Probably.
At least. I do wonder how you put that down in the box score. Is that just like, I guess it's it's not an RBI. It's just a run coming across. But I would give it to God. I would put another player out on that box score, and I'd put God there, and I'd give him the RBI because he really helped the team. I don't even know who the Norfolk Tides were playing last night, but whoever it was benefited from the perfectly timed thunder and lightning clap.
Definitely divine intervention.
Also not mentioned in the sports update, Ben Shelton is going up against Yannick Sinner at around 9:30-ish on court 1 in the Wimbledon quarterfinals. Yannick Sinner, the world number 1. Ben Shelton, currently ranked 10th in the world. So it should be a very, very fun showdown between the two. As Shelton looking to get his way into the semifinals. Taylor Fritz also looking to get his way into the semifinals. Actually, I think Taylor Fritz punched his ticket to the semifinals yesterday. The two Americans can meet in the finals if they keep winning. For Ben Shelton, though, he has a pretty big task ahead of him. But Yannick Sinner is dealing with a bit of an injury that he suffered in the round of the fourth round. Man, Wimbledon, they take America has taken English things and changed them just enough. Like it's the fourth round.
Yeah.
I'm used to saying like the round, like March Madness. It's like the round of 64, so I wanted to say the round of 4, but that would just be the semifinals. But it's the fourth round. So that's on me. That's on me.
You got the code switch, man.
I really do. But Yannick Sinner, he underwent an MRI yesterday. I didn't see anything too crazy come out of that. So I imagine he's healthy. He's ready to go for his showdown with the 22-year-old American at about 9:30. So in about just over an hour, those two will be getting going on court 1. Shelton took down Sonego in 4 sets, 3-6, 6-1, 7-6, won that one in a tiebreak, 7-5 to win that. So Ben Shelton's been kind of the talk of Wimbledon this year.
Yeah, he's got a good story with the sister and asking for her to get PTO and all that. So, America, we love a good story.
And I could be so it's the 50th anniversary, right, of Arthur Ashe winning Wimbledon. He won it in 75.
That would be 50 years.
Thanks. I was talking out that math. I think Shelton would be one of the first African Americans to win it since then. I think I did that research correctly.
For a male?
Yeah. So it could be a pretty big 50th anniversary. So Shelton's got that on his side too, as he's rolling his way through Wimbledon. He goes off against Yannick Sinner in just a little bit. So on today's show, we do want to talk a little bit about some MLB players as they are resistant to the challenge system. Tim Kirchin talked about that yesterday. We've got news or snooze coming up, and we've got a really fun second hour. We're going to bring back this segment, If I Ran the League, where we bring up some rule changes that we would like to see around the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, everything like that. And then we'll react to Bill Barnwell's ranking of the top 32. He ranks them 1 through 32 NFL teams based on their wide receiver, tight end, and running back groups going into 2025. So that's all to come on today's show. We're going to stay a little bit ahead of schedule and get our first break in here. We'll step aside, be back with more Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday morning.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Linux dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
It's bow time. Sure, you've had a sausage biscuit before, but have you had the smoked sausage biscuit from Bojangles? Well, now is your chance. Juicy, slow-cooked smoked sausage is grilled to perfection and served on a fluffy, made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. No one does breakfast like Bojangles, and this smoked sausage biscuit doesn't disappoint. Right now, you can get 2 for just $5. Start your day with this flavor-packed deal while it lasts. It's bow time.
Oh, I love this scene.
Yeah, man. I bet we could pull off a street race like this.
Dude, totally.
Hey, this is just a movie, right?
Whoa, what?
You try this in real life, you could kill someone or even yourself.
Life's not like the movies. Avoid a life-changing consequence and slow down, because this is one disaster you can't outrun. Speeding catches up with you. A message presented by NHTSA.
The Black Friday and July event from Dell Technologies is here with great offers on trusted technology. You'll also discover huge deals on new AI-ready laptops like the Dell 14 Plus featuring Intel Core Ultra processors starting at $699.99. Save on top accessories, plus enjoy fast, free shipping and other benefits. Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Robinson's Plumbing Service is celebrating the red, white, and blue throughout July by offering 10% off repairs or replacements of any water heater. Depending on the unit you choose, that's a potential savings of $100 up to $500. Mention promo code REDHOT at the time of booking to claim this limited time offer. Get red hot savings on hot water heaters by booking your Robinson's Plumbing Service appointment by calling 794-0918. That's 794-0918.
Robinson's Plumbing Service is looking for great plumbing technicians to join the Robinson's Plumbing Service family. A prime candidate must value being on time, consider their work at craft, and have a great work ethic. Robinson's Plumbing Service offers a great benefit package, which includes health insurance, vacation, and a retirement plan. Submit an application online at robinsonsplumbingservice.com. That's robinsonsplumbingservice.com. Robinson's Plumbing Service is an equal opportunity employer.
Evan Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Jerry Jones continues to wait on Michael Parsons. I have a mantra for the Dallas Cowboys: a day late and $1 more.
Yeah, put it.
That's what they do when it comes to their contracts with their star players. They did it with CeeDee Lamb. They did it with Dak Prescott, and they're going to do it with Michael Parsons, and it's going to significantly shorten their runway.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
An accident is blocking both lanes on 64 westbound between Eltham Road and New Kent Providence Forge. We're also seeing some congestion heading west on 64 between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95 interchange. Beware of an accident on Bailey Bridge Road near Deer Run Drive, and heavy traffic heading south on 146 between Downtown Expressway and Powhite Parkway.
Hey, Richmond, looking for more Fitz the Bill content and behind-the-scenes looks into the show? Well, follow us on Instagram at Fitz the Bill ESPN RBA. You'll get all of the clips, exclusive hot takes, and so much more. Follow us at Fitz the Bill ESPN RBA on Instagram. Welcome back into Fitz the Bill. Feel like I'm ready to run a couple hot laps at Richmond.
Trying to wake you up,
This
man.
feels real NASCAR-y.
It is a good NASCAR.
It is a good NASCAR song. I'm ready to go.
Maybe I should have saved that one.
Well, yeah, you can always play this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm working on updating the beds.
We still got like a just over a month before that Saturday night race at Richmond.
That's true. We got time.
It's gonna be fun. I am. So
I had something else for that, but I was like, I'm not going to be negative.
Be negative.
No, I'm not going to be
Be a little
negative.
negative.
I went through this last year. I was so negative about the Braves. I'm not going to ruin everybody's morning by sulking.
Is it about the Braves?
It's just in general, like the song I was going to play.
Yeah.
Was Careless Whisper.
Oh yeah. You should play the Simon and Garfunkel song, Hello Darkness, My Old Friend.
Yeah, that too.
That's what it seemed like. I'm surprised you have the lights on in the producer booth.
I watched the game in the dark last night, and I was just sitting there listening to the rain. Me and Mother Nature.
That storm last night was intense.
It was intense, but it was symbolic because that's what was happening in my head.
That's what was happening to the
I was
Braves.
raging. That was what
happened to the Braves. You know what could have helped the Braves a little bit in that game?
Nothing could have helped the Braves.
Nothing could have helped them. Nothing could have helped them. But maybe something down the road. I mean, so yesterday on Pardon the Interruption, which is the lone remaining ESPN happy hour show, which shout out to them. Shout out to the crew over there, Tony Kernheiser and Michael Wilbon.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to them for weathering the storm. I mean, Around the Horn's been canned. I mean, all of the shows that have been around him have been canned. But PTI, it is staying strong. And yesterday, they talked with Tim Kirkchin, the GOAT of MLB coverage, on the show about why players are hesitant to bring the challenge system fully into the MLB and why they're resistant. They said to robot umpires, but it's more so just implementing the challenge system that we've seen at the AAA levels. We saw in spring training as well. Why MLB players are resistant to bringing that full time into the MLB. This is what Kirkchin had to say.
Well, the ones that I've talked to and others in the game feel like the players don't want the responsibility and the accountability of being in charge of a challenge on a ball or a strike, because they worry, do I know the strike zone well enough in order to be in charge of a challenge? And what if I challenge in the second inning and we lose a challenge? I had a major league manager tell me this year that in spring training, he thought the overriding point was that most players realized the umpires are better than they think. meaning a hitter goes, there's no way that's a strike. And then they run the replay and it is a strike. That's my feeling, that a lot of the players look at it and not sure they're confident enough in their understanding of the strike zone to therefore be in charge of a challenge system. They want somebody else to do it for them, but the manager can't do that, and the manager shouldn't have to do that.
So maybe if they had challenges and the Braves were a little bit more confident in the strike zone, they wouldn't have lost 10-1.
All right, I lied. I'm definitely gonna
be
kill
negative.
everybody's. Yeah, I'm gonna be super negative.
This is hilarious to me that players are they're not confident in the strike zone.
That sounds like the Umpire Association propaganda.
Oh, you think so?
Absolutely, man. There's not a hitter not knowing his strike zone is like a wide receiver admitting he was not open.
Like a chef not using salt.
Yeah, like what? No way. There's no way
if
that's
the
true.
MLB players actually said that, if that is actually coming from MLB players' mouths, like Tim Kirkjian was saying, then MLB players are not allowed to argue calls anymore.
But it's one, it can't be true because again, there's never a hitter that's gonna admit that they don't know their strike zone.
A hitter also will never say that the umpires are good.
Yeah,
they'll never say the umpires are better than we think they are.
As somebody who watches baseball as much as him, I know they're not good. And I'm saying that as a fan, like, of the sport. They're not good.
No,
we
they're
see
not.
that every single night. If you watch baseball this year, especially this year, if you're watching it every night or every other night, or if you catch one game out of a series, you will see some poor umpiring, especially behind the plate, on a regular basis. So I don't even know what he's talking like. That again sounds like Umpire Association propaganda.
I mean, even the umpires, if I'm the umpire, I want the challenge system involved. I want if I'm a player, if I'm an umpire, whoever it is, I want the challenge system in the MLB. It has been a great success in AAA. I think it was a good success in spring training too. Like, don't you want to have a system that if you're an umpire, you think you're the best at what you do, right? Like, you think you are very good. So don't you want
some of these dudes know they're bad.
But don't you want a system that helps you be right?
You should.
Like, if you think you are an MLB quality umpire, which if you do not think that, you should get them out of the MLB. But there should be a system in place that allows you to confirm what you called in the case of the umpire. And there should be a system in place for the players to challenge what they think was and wasn't a strike. Because sometimes it's the human element. There's going to be some issues with it. There is no reason why the challenge system should not be in the MLB. I do not understand that.
I will say this: if we're not going to do a challenge system, then maybe we can figure out a way to add another umpire because there needs to be an extra set of eyes on the field. If there's a solution,
there's a just bring the robot umpires into it.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
There's a solution to it, and to be honest with you, I don't care how they get to that solution. I just want the calls to be correct, and I want it to be done in a manner where we're not doing 7-8 minute delays. Like, it doesn't take that long.
Yes.
And then
it should be kind of the soccer system where they have a VAR referee at another location watching every replay all the time.
And to be fair,
that's it.
Not every ump is bad. And I'll say that too. Cause I there's a couple that are really good. But we don't know their names because they're good. Like, we only know the bad umpires. And there's a lot of bad umpires. I would do a rough estimate that close to like 70% of the umpires behind the plate are bad.
Wow. I think it's that high?
I think it's that high. Yes.
And that's what I would call an epidemic.
But here's the thing.
Fix that.
The human element of calling balls and strikes, like, there's a lot going on. It's more difficult than people think, especially with the movement that we have nowadays. You got guys that are throwing pitches that are like 6 inches off the plate and they're breaking like 1.5 feet, right? So that's difficult. That's fine. What irks me as a fan is the way the umpires carry themselves when they make a mistake, right? Like,
they just don't own up.
Yeah, they don't own up to it. And even after they don't own up to it, they hold grudges. They kick players out. I saw Jazz. I can't remember how long ago it was, but I saw Jazz get kicked out because he essentially looked at the umpire. Like, he looked at him. It was a bad call. He ended up striking out at his at bat. He went back to the dugout. He came back onto the field.
He looked a little
He's
long.
warming up. He was upset, which was fine. And I think one of his former teammates was the catcher, was messing with the umpire. He's like, he's staring you down. And the umpire threw him out.
Yeah, I saw that a
Stuff like that is what ultimately annoys me, because you're gonna make mistakes. That's the human element. We understand that. But some of these calls are so bad. It's like, dude, that was a ball the minute it left his hand. Come on.
And when we were talking with Dave from the CVFOA, the Central Virginia Football Officials Association, say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
It's all about relationship building. Like, being a referee is about having those relationships, and the MLB umpires just don't seem like they have that. And they then react so negatively when there's a little pushback, when they are wrong. Like Shohei the other night nearly got ejected from a game.
Shohei.
Because the pitch was clearly inside, right? And he just looked, he just kind of gave the umpire the old, like, come on, man.
Yeah, the most he'll do is like grimace.
Yeah, and he was right. It was really far inside. And I think Shohei would have loved to tap his helmet and say, let's challenge that real quick and let me get a ball. And let's run it back again.
And for a guy like Shohei, who's a pitcher, he knows his strike zone.
You know who I think would benefit the most from the challenge system? Shohei, and then catchers.
Yeah,
I think you would see catchers' on base percentage rise a good amount, just because they'd all of a sudden they know the strike zone that the ump has been calling all game.
And I'll be honest with you, as a former baseball player, if you're consistent, even if it's a call I don't agree with, if you're consistent, I will appreciate that.
When I do play-by-play for baseball, that's something I always say. Like, if the outside edge is open, keep it open the whole game.
Yeah.
If it's closed,
I want that call when I'm on the other side.
If it's closed, keep it closed.
Yeah.
You cannot have it open for one inning and then the next inning it's closed. That's the other key where umps just seem to lack that. And I get it. It is hard. These balls are coming in at 97 miles an hour with extreme amounts of spin.
97 is slow now.
And you have to make that call like that in a second, which is why challenges should be part of it. And if the players, like Kirchin is reporting, are actually against it, that makes negative sense. That makes negative sense.
That can't be true. If they're against it, that might be true. But the logic that he just gave us, I just wholeheartedly disagree with that.
He said, quote, not sure that players are confident enough in their understanding of the strike zone to therefore be in charge of a challenge system. They would rather someone else be in charge of it.
They argue every night.
Exactly. Like, if that's the case, players, you have lost your ability to look back at an umpire. If you are not confident in the strike zone, why are you then arguing the calls? So right there, that makes no sense. And the fact that a player would ever admit that the umpires are better than what we thought, we thought they were. Not in this case.
It's like NBA players saying, "I didn't get fouled." Come on, man.
Like an NBA player.
NBA players are not confident enough to call their own fouls. Okay. Like, what are we doing, man? That doesn't make any sense.
Have I told you my umpire take or my referee take?
What?
I think sports should be self-officiated.
Oh, yeah, you did say that once.
I think sports should be self-officiated.
If we think games are too long now, they definitely be too long.
I think it would have. This is also a tongue-in-cheek take, a tongue-in-cheek thing. Some sports probably better than others, but I do think if sports became self-officiated, there would be a learning curve. But games would then get quicker and we'd see more physicality.
I mean, we see more physicality, but like, again, wide receivers would always say they got pass interference.
Yeah, but then the other side,
shooters would always say they got fouled.
But just as much as that would be happening, then it would be happening on the flip. And so, like in the case of football, if a wide receiver is like, I'm getting pass interfered every single time, then it would flip and it would impact his defender. And so eventually it would kind of even itself out because there'd be a tick for tack, an eye for an eye.
Go to your local Y, hang out on a Saturday.
There's a difference between a Y basketball player and an NBA player.
They all whine the same. Whine the same. I'm just saying that would be miserable for a fan experience.
Some sports probably better than others to be like soccer. I think it would be great to be self-officiated.
I'll just leave it to the golfers. I'll leave it to golf.
And they self-officiate, and I love when they have to sign their own scorebook. And they get it wrong, and they'll be like assessed a stroke penalty. And it's
that's always funny.
Like, what are we doing?
But I'd rather stay golf. I don't want that in our major sports.
I think self-officiated, and then I think we'll talk about this if I ran the league.
Hey, I'm not voting for you. Sorry.
I think refs should be I think professional refs should be susceptible to fines for missed calls.
To a certain degree, like with the umpires, because the umpires do get graded after every game.
Like, I think let's hit the rewind button on life real quick and go back to that Rams Saints NFC Championship game where there was that clear pass interference that happened late in the game that impacted the result of it.
Yeah.
I think the referee should be fined for that. Not like $10,000, and these refs aren't making a ton of money, but I think they should get a little slap on the wrist when they miss something that crazy.
If you did that, it should stay in-house. I wouldn't make that public.
I think it should be public.
Well, once it goes public, then you're gonna have an issue with it's the human element. Like nobody wants to be under that kind of criticism
that's
on a regular basis.
That's why I'm not saying. Look, if players are open to that criticism, I think
players also sometimes get penalized in-house too for certain things, and it doesn't go public.
That's true.
So I would put that on the refs in that same manner. Like if that happens, we know you did something wrong. We can make the assumption, like when a player has to sit out, we can make an assumption that, he was late for curfew or something like that. We can speculate.
I think there should be some sort of public accountability for a missed call.
And it's gonna get dark. It's gonna get dark quick. We got people threatening.
Okay.
Yeah, we got people threatening people.
Maybe I'm thinking of like the perfect world where there aren't sports bettors threatening
that's
lives.
what I was gonna say. Like we're gonna have a slippery slope there.
In that case, I was thinking that the world was good. Silly me. That's on me.
Yeah.
My fault.
I know all about the dark side.
My fault. That's on me.
I would never do that. But there's a lot of people that
do.
Yes.
I think more states. Now this has gone off on a crazy tangent, but I think more states should. I think all states, if you legalize sports betting, you should have a rule that if you are caught verbally abusing a player, a ref, a coach, if you are caught through Instagram DMs, however it may be, you should be banned from sports betting for the rest of your life. One, you don't get a second chance. The first time you do it, you get banned for the rest of your life. That's how that should work.
I'm cool with them treating them just like they treat you when you cheat the book. You cheat the book, you're banned. Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. You don't get a second chance.
I think that's and it's not like a lot of these people are like using burners to do it. A lot of them are just like straight up on their Instagram.
It's not like a lot of these people are losing a ton of money either.
No, they're like losing a $10 parlay.
Yeah, that was like a 13-legger.
You cost me $10 million. And it's like, brother, you should not have even been placing that bet in the first place.
Seriously.
All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside, be back. A little news or snooze on this midweek edition of Fitz the Bill.
Golf season is here at Hunting Hawk Golf Club. Plan your next golf outing for your kids' athletic team, church group, or fundraiser online at huntinghawk.com. That's huntinghawk.com.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
Hey, did you miss Clinton and Friends?
Headline: Washington Nationals fire Davey Martinez and Mike Rizzo. For a team that is 6 seasons away from winning the World Series, #1 draft pick on deck, to have an interim GM and no manager at all, we call that a yikes. The Nationals are a microcosm of the fact that a lot of things that can go wrong will go wrong.
Clinton and Friends, weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. This is Joe and Q.
Herb Simon and Stephen Rails, we're fully prepared to go deep into the tax to keep him.
Kind of find it hard to believe that Miles Turner would just up and go, especially to Milwaukee, unless he just doesn't see success in this organization moving forward, especially with Halliburton being out presumably this year. Right now, to me, it feels like an organization that's just trying to appease the fan base.
Joe and Q, weekdays from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
One of our other favorites is Crumb Snatcher in Virginia. We have not heard from Crumb Snatcher in a minute. Mr. Snatcher.
Well, Mr. Harry Douglas, where have you been? I know you've been on a fishing trip. You had a good time, but I'm waiting on you.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
1061 ESPN weather.
Taking a look at your daily forecast, it's currently 77 degrees and cloudy with a low today of 73 and a high of 90. Beware that the National Weather Service has issued a flood watch starting around 2 p.m. Cloudy skies are expected to continue throughout the day with gusts of wind up to 13 miles per hour and thunderstorms starting in the evening and continuing through the night.
1061 ESPN. Catch Border to Border with Matt Josephs. Statewide sports debates, unfiltered takes, and no-nonsense analysis. Tune in daily and join the conversation.
So high five. Welcome back into Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside Commanders. I've been refreshing my Twitter this entire show. At some point today, they didn't say a time. At some point today, they will release their new alternate jerseys. This is big news, guys. We don't know what they're going to be. We don't know how they're going to be. Really, we know nothing about it except that today, at some point today, the Washington Commanders will be releasing a brand new alternate.
On behalf of their fan base, get your receiver signed.
Hey, this is completely separate from that.
I know.
Just give them $34 million and call it a day.
There's nothing they can
$33 million.
There's nothing they can do to satisfy people with those jerseys, though.
No, they're just bring back the old name.
Yeah, I saw somebody ask the president about that. I was like, that's so random. Again,
I hate it, man.
Not getting political whatsoever, just saying like we all have more important things to worry about, and it didn't hurt the brand. It really hasn't hurt the brand.
Not at all. Like that's the thing. People are like, wait.
The Commanders sold for what? How many billion?
Billions.
It's like
a lot of billions.
It was like 2 billions or something like that.
Yeah, more billions than we'll ever see.
Yeah, they profited even after they changed their name.
Even after every scandal that Dan Snyder found himself in.
Yeah, so
they're fine.
And it's funny when
they made it to the NFC Championship game. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's fine.
This is what upsets me about it. Like you've not look, yeah, I get it. In the 80s and 90s and 70s, whatever it may be, you had success under the old name. We had success under the Redskins. You hadn't had success since your last Super Bowl in the 90s. Like maybe it was time for a little bit of a refresh.
That, and it doesn't matter what you do in the NFL. Fans will still fan. Like it doesn't hurt. Like there's never been a boycott of the NFL. Let's be honest. They make a profit every single year.
Their ratings?
That includes the Commanders or the Redskins or the football team, whatever they've been called.
Football team went hard.
Football team was awful.
Football team went hard.
It was awful. But whatever they've been called, they continue to make money. There continues to be a profit, and fans, plural, continue to support them. So this idea that they need to change it back, they don't need to do anything. They could literally come out in just a burgundy and gold uniform and people would still support them.
As long as they have Jaden Daniels as a healthy quarterback and they're winning football games, you could call them the Washington Anacostias and people would be like, all right, I'll buy tickets.
They'll buy tickets. They'll buy the jerseys. They'll buy.
You know what's more important? More important than the dang name is getting this RFK stadium figured out.
That's important too.
Just figure that out. And then if you want to recognize the past, recognize the history of this team, it's not bringing back the old name. It's making sure that they're able to play 2030 on in a state-of-the-art, brand new stadium on the site of where the old RFK stood. That's how you honor the past.
I am curious to see this alternate uniform,
I'm very curious. Like, I think it's going to be my expectation, a throwback, like 70s era, like that burgundy type of.
Also, shame on you for refreshing at 8:30 in the morning. You're not going to get breaking news this early. It's going to be around lunch.
I think it's going to be at 9 a.m.
Nah, it'll be around.
You think lunch?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the afternoon guys, Bob and Matt will be able to talk about it because that's coming down. So sometime today, there will be a new uniform for the old Washington Commanders. They're going to introduce probably a throwback alternate, but some sort of alternate jersey, probably with a new helmet to go along with their white, their burgundy, and their black alternate that they currently have as well. So we'll keep it locked there. We'll keep it locked there. As we're going to head out to the phone lines before we do news or snooze. Dan from Midlothian, little referee talk on this Wednesday morning. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. How we doing?
Great. How are you?
Okay so far. Depends on who you ask, but I think I'm doing okay. So I'll go with that. Listen, I've been a referee, a soccer referee. I played baseball. So with Alan, I was a pitcher because I like to control things. And, depending on where you play kind of makes a difference. Like when I played in college and we went down and played in North Carolina, the plate literally was round. There were no corners because I never got them when I played. But, the one thing I would say is I get that they want to increase to a degree some replay calls, but, the more teeth you put into that stuff, it's going to come back and bite you. At some point, people are going to go, all right, enough. Because it does get to be too much at some point. So that to me, that's kind of tough as far as how much do you regulate that? How much do you want to do that? And I know that's always going to be open for debate and will be until the next bad call happens. And they say, well, we got to do this or we got to do this. So, but, I refereed soccer for years and, I would do one of the things you all talked about was, relationships. When you have relationships with the players and coaches and they know how you call a game, that makes a difference too. And the consistency of that also. Because I would get players out there, when I'm refereeing, they're arguing for calls and I just tell them, quit begging and play. Quit begging, just play.
Yeah.
And they would,
A lot of pro athletes scout the referees too. Like just as much as they're scouting the other team, they'll scout the tendencies that the referee will do. As long as you're consistent, I think they're okay with it. But with challenging strike calls, my thing on it is that it would take maybe 15 total seconds. It's not going to slow down the game as much. And I'm in the camp where if you have the ability to make the right call, don't you want to make the right call?
Oh yeah, and I don't disagree. My point is how much will it get elevated over time? How much is enough? And I don't think there's an answer for that.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of entitled people playing sports too, and they think everything needs to go their way, and that's not realistic, but it is what it is because it's all about money. But anyway, guys, thank you. As always, I listen to the show every morning, and I enjoy it. Keep having fun.
Thank you so much, Dan. Have a wonderful Wednesday. There goes Dan from Midlothian. I think he's right, though. Like, there are a lot of entitled people. I think that if you introduce challenges, it will almost, and this might seem backward thinking, but it would take the entitlement out of it. Because then the person who thinks they were wronged, they got called with the wrong call, then they can challenge it, and then they'll see, oh, wait, I was wrong. Now, if you grew up entitled and all of that stuff, you may not be able to realize that being wrong is a possible situation that you could find yourself in. That's a whole other discussion. But I think challenges, I'm in the camp that the more challenges you're able to do, the better the game is at the end of the day, as long as it's not slowing down the game to some ungodly slow pace. All right, let's do news or snooze. 3 headlines or storylines around the wide world of sports. We'll break down if they're newsworthy or snoozeworthy.
News or snooze.
All right, number 1, this is from Pat Ford from Sports Illustrated. March Madness is likely to expand because of a cash and power grab. So it was a column written by Pat Ford. It was a really well done column, and they're expected to expand to either 72 or 74 today or tomorrow. The NCAA will get together and decide to expand the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament, March Madness, from 68 teams to 72 or 74. And this is newsworthy. But it's newsworthy for all the wrong reasons, because I don't think, Alan, I have come across a single person who is in favor of expanding the NCAA tournament.
Coach Mooney is. But you didn't do the coaches show.
So
you still haven't come across somebody, but we'll get you out there this year.
All right, perfect. I'll talk to him about it because I don't see this benefiting the small schools like a Richmond, like a VCU, like a JMU, like an ODU, like a Liberty. I mean, I can go through the long list of mid-major programs that we have here in the Commonwealth, and it's not going to benefit them. It's going to benefit the 13th best team in the SEC. It's going to benefit the 14th best team in the Big Ten. Like, when they expand this, they're looking to get those big name, high profile teams into the tournament so they can increase the ratings. And when the next media rights deal is ready, they can then ask for more money. That's what's going to happen by expanding. They're not going to look to make it more fair for the mid majors. They're not, like, if they had expanded the tournament this year, VCU, if they had lost to George Mason in the A10 championship game, they would not have still made it. They would have instead figured out that there was a 15th or 16th or 17th best SEC school that doesn't even exist, and they would have put them in. And it just shows that the NCAA does not care, because when is enough enough? Like, I understand that the NCAA at its core is a business. I'm fully in support of paying student athletes to compensate them because they've been a main driver for all of this growth that we have seen in college athletics over the last number of years. But also, I get that it's a business, but at the same time, when is enough enough? Like, we've lost the Pac-12. We were talking about it yesterday. USC wants to end its rivalry against Notre Dame. Realignment has made Stanford, Virginia Tech a consistent thing. UCLA is playing Wisconsin in the Big Ten. Like, we've lost so many things in college sports. And as a fan, we've just sat back and we've kind of accepted it. And we've voiced the displeasure. And for every cash grab that there has been, the people being punished time and time again are the fans and the athletes. And this is just another example. Pat Ford hit the nail on the head that this is another cash and power grab by the NCAA, by league commissioners, by athletic directors, by university presidents to try and make a little bit more money at the top. This isn't going to trickle down and help the ASUN. This isn't going to trickle down and help Conference USA. No, it's going to make the SEC stronger. It's going to make the Big Ten stronger, the Big 12, maybe the ACC. Who knows if they're even going to be good at basketball anymore. But just, when is enough, man? It is so kind of demoralizing as a college sports fan that we're getting these things taken away from us. USC Notre Dame might be taken away from us. There's no longer Pac-12, which was something so many bettors loved, so many just passionate sports fans loved. Soon they may this is me just venting at this point. Soon they may take away the MAC for all we know. Like, just getting rid of institutions in college sports for more money. And at the end of the day, we are being punished as the fans. The student athletes are being punished because they're going to have to jump on a plane from Stanford, California, all the way over to Blacksburg, Virginia to play a midweek Olympic sport event because they needed to make that move for football so they would get more money. And now the NCAA tournament, it is good where it is. It is good where it is. And they want to expand and get a little bit more. They want to get a little bit more juice out of the lemon. But the lemon has been rang so many times, there's no longer a lemon there. And they're just trying to get every little ounce out. And it's just disappointing as a fan. Disappointing as a fan. All right, headline number 2. This is from Kirk Cousins from the Netflix series Quarterback. So it's a quote. It's a storyline. He said, quote, "Certainly if I had had the information around free agency, it would have affected my decision. I had no reason to leave Minnesota with how much we loved it there if both teams are going to be drafting a quarterback high. But I've also learned in 12 years in this league that you're not entitled to anything. It's all about being able to earn your spot and prove yourself." That was Kirk Cousins, and that is snoozeworthy. Yeah, no duh, you would have stayed in Minnesota if you had known it, but Minnesota was done with you, man. They weren't going to pay you the money that you were looking for you to be the backup. And then you say you said all of that, and then your last sentence is all about being able to earn your spot and prove yourself. I'm sorry, my guy, but you weren't able to prove yourself. You had like a 2-lap advantage over Penix, and you sputtered so much to start the season that they put him in and he looked much better than you, and now that's where they're going. Their plan wasn't to put Penix in the middle of the season. Their plan was to let Penix sit for a year or two behind you, and you weren't able to prove and earn yourself and earn a spot for yourself. It's just completely snoozeworthy. If I had no reason to leave Minnesota with how much we loved it there. Yeah, but Minnesota had a reason to leave from you. Like Minnesota left him. He's making it seem like he decided to leave Minnesota. All the reports around that were that Kirk Cousins is done because they're moving on from him. They don't want to pay him that money.
Yeah, he's got to say something to save face, but
he's really trying to save face.
I think he would have been better served to not try to play through his injury last year, because something was definitely off with his shoulder or arm, because he was throwing the ball into the dirt a lot towards the last couple weeks that before he got benched.
Yeah, and he was still coming back from his Achilles. Like,
the Achilles thing,
not for nothing.
Yeah,
not for nothing. All right, our third headline, quote, a lot happier at UCF. Frost pushes past Nebraska tenure. That's from ESPN. Completely and utterly snoozeworthy.
Oh man, I was gonna make that newsworthy.
Really? You think that
it's a great swipe that he took in Nebraska?
Well, the swipe, he took a great swipe at Nebraska. It's snoozeworthy because I really do not care what Scott Frost is doing at UCF.
So you need to show respect to a former national champion.
Again, I don't care what Scott Frost is doing at UCF. Yeah, sure. Former national champion.
The heck, nah, man. I thought that was so ridiculous.
Quote unquote national champion because they were the only undefeated team.
Yeah.
The swipe at Nebraska was pretty great because he also said that he learned from his time at Nebraska, quote, don't take the wrong job.
Which is funny and also like, what a jerk.
What a jerk. So he's now returned back to UCF where he's had all of his coaching success. Wild to take that type of shot at your alma mater because he was a Nebraska quarterback.
Yeah, but it's not wild at all. Like, that was awful for both parties, and Nebraska should take shots at him too.
I mean, I think Nebraska, should take
air it out, man.
Both sides.
Yeah, make it ugly.
Let's get a 1-for-1.
Seriously,
Nebraska at UCF. Now that would be fun.
But, you talking about a game? Oh no, no, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Oh, you don't want to see Nebraska at UCF?
No, I don't, man, because I have high expectations that Scott Frost is going to bring the old UCF back pretty quickly.
See, I have high expectations that Matt Rule's going to have Nebraska as a top 25 team this year.
We tried that last year. It didn't work out.
Hey,
I don't think
another year in the system for Dylan Raiola.
Yeah, Raiola, a.k.a.
Pat Mahomes Light.
Yeah,
spelled Lite.
Pat Mahomes, like, adopted cousin at this point. He was the first cousin. Now I think he's adopted. So I don't think he's good, man. But we'll see.
All right.
Actually, we did see. So no, I'll just stand.
Stand on business.
Yep.
Okay. I think Nebraska will be good this year, and I think they would crush UCF. But
this year, probably. But Scott Frost in 2 years, because you got to get
once
your
he
cycle
gets his
through.
people in.
Yeah. Once he gets his people in.
Remember when the cycle used to be like 4 years, and now it's like 2 years is your cycle.
Yeah, it's
if that.
Well, I don't know if since we we're on this topic, if anybody's paying attention to what's going on out in Lubbock, Texas Tech's got a really, really, really rich alumni, and he is really, really, really throwing some money around.
$5.1 million to
like it's nothing,
freshman.
man. And he's taking kids from Texas, from Clemson. Like he's got a little bit going right now, and
it's all got to get cleared by this random clearinghouse thing.
And some a Texas like fan or something on like one of the message boards just basically subbed him and was like, "Yeah, we'll see how long this lasts, bub." And he let him know, like, clearly you don't know my net worth, bub. So if I'm around that area between Texas Tech and SMU, like it's gonna be a lot of things shaking. And for a team like UCF, with Scott Frost back in this particular climate, he probably could rebuild them in about 2 years.
I think we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm pretty confident.
I'm a little burned on Scott Frost,
and he's in the Big 12 now. Don't forget that.
That is true. You got to compete in the Big 12. It does raise the question though. Like we talk about quarterbacks landing in good situations. I think it's just as important for the coach because Nebraska was once this storied program, and then probably a couple bad athletic directors, the culture kind of souring over time with everything that's going on in Nebraska over the last, 25, 30 years or so. I think it is pretty important. He's taken a swipe at him. Don't take the wrong job, kind of airing out some of his grievances that he has with the administration there in Nebraska, but he's not wrong. Like, for a coach where you were at as Scott Frost, you could have had the world with what you had done at UCF. You don't want to take the wrong job. You have to know how important everything around you, the infrastructure that you're walking into at a job is, because Scott Frost is a great coach. He's not a program rebuilder like he was needed to at Nebraska.
I think
he also did not have the administration that wanted to buy in to his program rebuilding.
So I don't even buy that because Nebraska has nothing but football, really. So but the idea that they wouldn't be all in, I think
they
Frost,
clearly have not been, though, because they've not been a good team in years.
But I think Frost himself was in over his head and didn't want to admit that. Plus, he came into the Big Ten with the style that he never adjusted to the Big Ten. He tried to bring his UCF style into a
Big Ten,
a conference
corn-fed,
that has Penn State, crazy good defense typically, especially up front. Michigan, crazy good defense, especially up front, and Ohio State, crazy good defense, especially up front. And he never adjusted. Like, this was that Nebraska tenure didn't have any real cogs on the offensive line, which has always been their calling card. Like, he got away from that. When Wisconsin brought in the gentleman from Cincinnati,
Luke Fickell.
Yeah, Fickell. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name, but when they brought Fickell in, Fickell even adjusted to the conference. He was a staff member on Ohio State for a while, so he kind of knew, but he kept some elements of what it means to be a Big Ten team, and that's the trenches. His trenches never change. Scott lost it once he got away from the offensive line.
You think Scott Frost was more of the issue, not the fact that there's a lack of buy-in from the administration?
I totally believe he is, because my friend is a Nebraska super fan, and I have to listen to this crap every year, and I have to agree with them. It was Frost, because look at Rule for what he's done in the little bit of time he's been there. He's at least made him competitive, but it started with the trenches, especially on the defensive side.
I see what you're saying, but Nebraska's issues happened long before Scott Frost even took that job. So that in and of itself tells me that there's Rule has done a great job rebuilding the culture, but there was a lack of culture. The administration wasn't making the right moves. Scott Frost wasn't able to rebuild that bad culture, and he didn't have the tools to change it.
So that's his fault.
It's his fault. It's the coach that was before Scott Frost's fault. It was the coach that was before Scott Frost's fault. And Matt Rule has done a very good job of starting to rebuild it. But that's what he means by don't take the wrong job. The infrastructure wasn't there, and he was not the coach to overcome all of the extenuating circumstances. Matt Rule is the coach that can overcome the extenuating circumstances. All right, we got a lot more coming up in hour number 2.
Game on, Richmond. Crank up 106.1 ESPN for live play-by-play, blistering hot takes, and nonstop action. Your ticket to the hype. Stay dialed in.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
4th of July savings are here at the Home Depot, so it's time to get your grilling on. Pick up the Traeger Pro Series 22 pellet grill and smoker, now on special buy for $389, was $549. Smoke a rack of ribs or bake an apple pie. This grill is versatile enough to do it all. This summer, no matter how you like your steaks, your barbecues are guaranteed to be well done. Celebrate 4th of July with fast free delivery on select grills right now at the Home Depot. Coming to availability.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Braves fans, stay locked. Game day coverage on W291CL Lakeside Richmond and WURV HD2 Richmond. Swing for the fences on 106.1 ESPN.
You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome back into Fitz the Bill, hour number 2 on this Wednesday morning. Apologies if my voice sounds a little perturbed. Commanders just released their new jerseys, and I'm not impressed.
At least you got the news early. I thought it would come later.
And I really thought so. Commanders just tweeted them out. It says weaving past and present. We're adding back the Super Bowl era threads to our uniform rotation. Okay.
I like Josh Harris, man. He's on to something.
You like these?
No, I'd say I like Josh Harris. I didn't say I like these. I haven't looked at it. I'm Googling it now. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I don't mind that.
They are the last time they won a Super Bowl, it's those jerseys.
Hey, I get excited every time I see the Niners old Super Bowl jerseys.
Yeah, the Niners. Maybe I'm just not a fan of the Washington Redskins old threads, where it's just a white jersey. Like, it's just a boring jersey.
No, I mean, look, again, if we're going for iconic,
it is iconic. It is iconic.
And you're blending, to me, it's a good marketing thing. You're blending the past with the present.
You are, and the helmet looks good. I think the helmet's new.
And people will complain and say that they should have stuck the Redskin back on there.
So the helmet is new. They've got new striping on it. So currently the helmet is just the yellow stripe down the middle. This is a burgundy helmet, yellow stripe, 2 white stripes doing it. And then it's the white tops that they wore in the 90s with the burgundy pants with the same stripe outline on the legs as up on the jersey. It's cool. It's cool. Fit for old DC is a cool little caption, little tag with it. Fans are seemingly loving it. I think I just wanted like a different type of thing.
No, I like it. I'm on board.
Growing on me a little bit, but I wanted something more flashy.
I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. There's not so much more flash they can do with the color pattern. I mean, they've tried to have the black in there. People complained about that. They've got a more maroon. They complained about that. They got a more gold. People complained about that. So then they give you the throwback.
Yeah, just go back to literally what no one can complain about. Like no one except for me.
Except for the helmet.
Except for me. Yeah. There is actually, I just tapped on to look at the comments on Twitter. One of the first. Now put the old logo back on it.
I knew it, man. You can never please them, but I like it. I like it. And I'm not saying that because I want to get in good with the team. I think I'm good enough with the team now. I like it.
They're good. Yeah, they're fine.
I mean, those colors are what, in my mind, like it means something to me when I see it. Like I instantly think of Joe Gibbs and all that, the legacy. And again, like I said, I think that's a perfect marketing scheme to blend the old with the new.
Yes, it is. This is a 10 out of 10 marketing scheme. And it is very different than the current jerseys that they wear with the Commanders over the front and everything. So it is a throwback. I just, maybe here's the thing. Maybe I feel a little weird because this is like the first time in my life that a jersey that was worn when I was growing up as a kid is now a throwback.
No. Wait, yeah, you were born. Yeah, you wasn't around for the creamsicles.
No, I was not.
Right.
So I was born in 97. They were still wearing a form of this jersey in the early 2000s when I became a football fan. I think it is now dawning on me that my childhood is going to become a throwback here soon.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe that's why I don't like it.
Reality,
no. I don't like this. I don't like this. I just had that realization of that's why I don't like these jerseys. Or I'm just like, they were wearing these just a couple of years ago.
You'll be all right.
And then when I look down, I'm like, oh, that was 20 some odd years ago. Yeah, I guess that is a throwback. Technically, if a car's 20 years or older, it's an antique, isn't it? I think that's the rule. So maybe that's why I don't like them. But they just released them. So that's how we're starting off hour number 2. We're also going to start out hour number 2 by going out to the phone lines. You can call, you can text in 804-327-0888. Dolphin Dave is on line 1. Good morning, Dolphin Dave. How we doing?
Gentlemen, I was born in 55. I've seen so many Dolphins, different times of Dolphin logos. And I actually have been looking in the ocean to see if there are any Dolphins left. So they're just taking one out every time. They're trying to figure out what the heck they're supposed to do. I like my older logo better than I like my new logo.
Fair.
I thought our older logo was a little more manly. And that's the best way I can put it. I think a new logo looks like that. Hey, you want to go swim with the Dolphins? Hey, swim with these guys.
It fits
So,
Mike
you
McDaniel.
know.
It fits Mike McDaniel's vibe.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, hopefully after this year, if everything goes what I think it's going to do, he won't be fitting Mike McDaniel's vibe anymore. I read that entire thing. We were talking about Asante Samuel Sr. and when he wrote about the Dolphins. So I actually got a chance to read it. And I hate to say this, he's spot on. He's absolutely, completely right. And his assessment of that team, his assessment of Greer, and his assessment of Mike McDaniels, and he lays everything at their feet. Before I go, because I've been bringing up Dolphins with you guys too much the last few days. Before I go, I will just tell you that Chris Greer absolutely has to go. He has never made a splash in the trade or done what I would call a draft that, except for Tua, the quote unquote tanking for Tua, I haven't seen him bring anybody in that will actually have made any difference in our team. So I will be interested to see what happens this year. I'd like to predict we're going to win the AFC East. I don't think we can. I don't think with the defense, with the offense, or whatever we have. And honestly, I don't think we can with our coach. I hate to say this, but the coach did some studying over the off season, that maybe he learned that, you don't have the same 5 plays in the playbook, and that they're going to let they know before you know. Maybe, but I think that there's going to be a huge regime change a la the Redskins or the Commanders last year. And I'm hopefully we're as lucky to get a coach in there that is tough and can go ahead and say, okay, let's do this. I'll shut up now. Thanks for taking the call.
Thank you, Dolphin Dave. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm glad we can be the spot where Dolphin Dave can call in and complain about his Dolphins.
No, you get a little bit of everything in Richmond.
Hey.
And I have to agree with the man. That 97 to 2012 Dolphin looked thicker, had a throwback helmet on him. Looked like he was ready to go, man.
He was ready to throw fins.
Yeah, looked like he was a fullback out there. like contact. 2013 to the present.
He took a little Ozempic before Ozempic was a thing.
Yes.
Thin down a bit.
That 7-on-7 look, man.
Get some GLP-1s in you.
Get you your Zach Thomas back, man.
Yeah. The Dolphins need to blow it up.
I honestly think of all the things that I would typically say, like my motto is usually I'll take the 90s, but keep the high-speed internet. The logos of a lot of sports teams were better when I was younger. I think
logos like Super Bowl logos were so much better.
Things were maybe it's because we're running out of like creativity, like the dunk contest. There's only so many different variations of a dunk you can do. Maybe there's so many different variations of a dolphin you can do.
Not to be like psychological, I don't know what the right word is, but there is like a study out there that like the world's losing its color.
It's losing its creativity.
Yeah, like it's like you go to McDonald's and you remember when McDonald's back in the early 2000s and the 90s was like this bright place with a bunch of loud colors, red, yellow. Now you go to McDonald's, it's all that like slate gray.
Yeah.
And it's just like boring. Like cars are all the same color now. And there is like a psychological study where like the world is losing its color. And that is evident in the Super Bowl logos. You look at what the Super Bowl logos were in all the way up until like 2012. And then 2012 on, they just became these like cookie cutter copy and paste type of thing.
Halftime performances were better when I was younger too.
Yeah, but we can talk about Janet Jackson all day.
That was I would consider that when I was younger. Like, I was thinking like in the 90s, but yeah, Janet Jackson was definitely changing, life changing. I still remember where I was when that happened.
Was that what Super Bowl? Was that Panthers Patriots?
I was a freshman in college.
Wow.
I remember that.
Yikes.
Yeah, because we were watching it together. So you can imagine dorm of boys seeing that. Like, yeah, it got pretty rowdy.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's so funny. Bring back the old time Super Bowl performances. I don't want Rihanna pregnant sitting on a stand anymore.
Give me the logos though. Like even
bring back Left Shark.
Yeah, Left Shark was phenomenal.
I hated Left Shark because you know what happened in the second half of that game.
Well, of course you hated that. Your coordinator became Left Shark.
Our head coach became Left Shark. Our Russell Wilson became Left Shark. Ricardo Lockett became Left Shark. Didn't run through the play.
You'll be all right.
Let me calm down. I got a Super Bowl out of it. I got one Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, I got one Super Bowl too in my life, so hopefully it works out better for you.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't. Oh man. All right. So welcome back in. I guess this is a long-winded way to say welcome back in hour number 2. We had to do a couple of things as we welcomed you back into Fitz the Bill. We're rolling right along. You can watch on YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond on the tubes and we will pop right on up and you can watch there. While you're there, go ahead and subscribe. While you're there, you can also subscribe to Fitz the Bill. Just type in Fitz the Bill, ESPN RVA in the search bar. Will pop right on up and you can find so much content that we are populating with each and every day over on our YouTube and our Instagram at ESPN. Excuse me. All right. Well, we do have that Instagram, ESPN Richmond. We also have Fitz the Bill, ESPN RVA on Instagram as well. So to start hour 2, to de facto start hour 2, I did want to talk about if I ran the league. Alan, feel free to chime in with any rules that you want to add to the wide world of sports. This is throwing it back just a little bit, but the NBA, now that I've had time to digest the NBA playoffs, the NBA opening round, that opening round, first round series should be a best of 5 series. That one should be a best of 5 series. The NBA just wrapped up like 2 weeks ago. And it just cut down a couple of games.
I agree with that. But you got to think of some legacies being affected if it was a best of 5.
Like who?
There's several that would have needed that. James Harden is one of them.
James Harden probably would have made it out of the first round.
No, he probably would have made it a lot further. It was best of 5.
Well, no, just the opening round, just the first round, just that very first round should be a best of 5. Then everything else is a best of 7. Because I can't think of a best of 5 that would have changed the way it went this playoffs. Now, I haven't done like the full historical breakdown, but I'm 99% sure most of the people who win their first round matchups would have also done it in 5 games, at least in the last decade. I feel comfortable in saying that. So if there's a complaint that people have had, that players have had about overuse and playing too much, I think you just ratchet down bring that first round series down to 5. And that will fix some of these quote unquote issues. But also you're being paid millions of dollars. I don't want to hear about. I read something and this kind of dovetails nicely into it. When professional athletes complain about playing too much and when college coaches complain about recruiting is hard now, I hate that. That makes me so angry. Yeah, you are being paid millions of dollars to do your job,
especially when it comes from coaches like an Urban Meyer, who wasn't recruiting the traditional way in the first place.
There was one Pete Nakos of On3 tweeted out something. Story coming tomorrow on NIL collectives, waiting on deals to be processed via NIL clearinghouse. Blah blah blah. That kind of side of it. But he asked a source, who I assume is a coach or a recruiter. Asked a source if it's harder to win a recruitment than it was 2 years ago. The source responded 1,000%. Okay. I don't care. You're being paid a lot of money to do a job. I'm gonna need you to come through. You want to be on, like, just do the job. Just do the job. Let's not complain. Like NBA players, we play too much. Just do your job, man.
Yeah, you get paid significantly more.
Shea Gilgeous is making $71 million a year with this new extension. If he's complaining about playing, come on. Which he's not. SGA is not. But there are some players who are like, we play too much. No, you don't. You don't play enough.
For $71 million.
For $71 million.
I agree.
All right. Another rule I would change, just one in the NFL. There should be an eye in the sky, and they're moving towards this a little bit more, but there should be an eye in the sky that reviews everything. Like everything. Everything should be reviewable. We've seen it become a little bit more of a thing, taking a look at like the big plays and big moments, potentially stopping the game. You've seen it. I mean, last season, you would see they would just kind of like randomly stop it. They do a quick look and then they'd carry on. So it is slowly being incorporated, but I want everything to be challengeable. You still keep your own. You only get two challenges, but everything should be reviewable because we should have an eye in the sky that is tracking everything. There is no reason why there should be a missed call in the NFL. And also, all reviews should be handled by an unbiased third party. It should not be another referee. It should not be it's not currently a coach, but it should not be a referee. We should have an unbiased third party run all reviews.
I'm cool with the unbiased third party. I am not cool with everything being reviewed. Why? I actually think the NFL overdoes it. I think the NFL has too many rules. I'll always stand by that. I can't stand that there's 6 different ways for an offense to get a first down on any kind of contact between the corner and the receiver. It makes the game unwatchable sometimes. It really does. Like when you have I can't remember who the Chiefs were playing last year, and I hate that I use them as an example because everybody says they get cheated for anyway. But man, there was a drive where they literally just moved the ball down the field because of penalties. And it was like illegal touching, hands to the face, and all this other craziness that they come up with. I don't think the NFL needs more replay. I really don't.
Even if you keep it at the same 2 challenges, so it's not like they're getting
even if you keep it at the same 2 challenges, I just don't.
I think everything should. If you can get it right, don't you want to get it right?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but also there has to be a balance, right? I think Dolphin Dave, or maybe it was Dan from Midlothian, had mentioned if you use it too much or if you get too many rules or too many replays and stuff, you're going to get further and further away from the entertainment factor that we as fans enjoy, right? You also get away from guys just making the call in real time. There'll be a lot of delay, a lot of second guessing. I don't want it to disrupt the flow of the game too much. So if you can find the balance, I would support some changes. But when it comes to NFL, I really do think that it's too many rules, especially skewed for the offense. I can't stand it.
They are skewed for the offense. I think all penalties should just so if it's 1st and 10 and it's a 5-yard penalty, it should not be an automatic first down. It's 1st and 5. So like defensive holding is a 5-yard automatic first down. That makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I also think penalties should then build upon one another. So say there was a holding that happened on the offense and a defensive pass interference that happened 11 yards down the field. That should be penalties, 1-yard gain for the offense, replay first down. So it's then 1st and 9. I think penalties should be stackable.
You got a text too about a rule change.
NFL should go back to having the regular season start on Labor Day weekend. When does it start now? Like a week before it, right?
No, the week after.
The week after?
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever start on Labor Day again, mainly because I think they're trying to add those extra weeks at the end. They're trying to add those extra weeks at the tail end of the season, potentially adding 2 more weeks, another bye in there. What I think the next CBA will do is they will add 2 weeks to the end of the season. Every team will have to play an extra game, but every team will get an additional bye, and it will force every single team to play 1 international game, and your bye would come after your international game. That's what I think the future of it's going to. And then it would push back the date of the Super Bowl by 2 weeks, which would then line it up with, I believe, President's Day is that weekend. So you would then have a long weekend, and that is what they're trying to go after.
I would veto that too, just because of the fact that
you're just hitting the veto button all over the place.
If you think about it from a marketing standpoint, Labor Day weekend is the weekend that everybody's outside. Nobody's going to be around the TV for real. I don't care what you plan, what you got going on.
So they would not be inside.
Yeah, so don't.
So you're agreeing with
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I was vetoing
the
it
text.
for the text.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like,
let's not start on Labor Day. And in fact, I think that's why the NFL got away from it because it's the one thing, if you think about their entire season, where everybody's outside. After that, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all these other times, people are inside, Yeah. It's easy to get people to watch the games, but you're fighting cookouts and vacations and things like that. You don't need that on your plate.
That does go into my next rule change. It's more of a schedule change for college football. I would change how they start the season. Like week 0 is the week before Labor Day. Then week 1 is Labor Day weekend. That it just feels like off a little bit.
Week 0 is for
the degenerates.
Yeah, the degenerates.
And going to Ireland. Like
that's what
maybe move week 0 then to Labor Day weekend because you don't have like the huge games going on. And then that way week 1, the official start of the season, doesn't fall on Labor Day weekend. Although then you're running into the NFL a bit more and then you're going head to head and you're not getting essentially 2 weekends of non-competitive ratings. So I get it. There's just a weird scheduling thing where the college football season starts on Labor Day weekend. And for all the reasons you were saying, you're battling cookouts, you're battling a lot outside. And so for college football, maybe you move it up. And week 1 is the week before Labor Day weekend. Week 0 is 2 weekends before Labor Day weekend. Then college football gets a couple of extra weeks, but then you'd have to change the entire recruiting calendar, blah, 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 blah. But college football, that's something that I would look into if I was the NCAA commissioner or whatever it is.
And they keep their marquee games, I believe, like Sunday night that week. And then there's a Monday night game sometimes for college football.
Yeah, that opening week, they make it a big blowout. But kind of what you were saying, though, with Labor Day weekend, like you're just competing with a lot.
Yeah.
So, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside. Bill Barnwell. I love Bill Barnwell. Got to try to get him on the show. He ranked the NFL wide receiver, tight end, running back groups
ready to disagree
for 2025. We're going to break down the NFC East, see where they rank throughout the NFL. Spoiler alert, the Giants aren't good. That's coming up on Fitz the Bill.
Golf season is here. Whether it's your first round of the year or the next round, make sure you're playing it at Hunting Hawk Golf Club. We're offering special pricing this summer on outings for civic organizations, churches, kids' athletic teams, or your own special fundraiser. Also, now is the time to start signing up for your fall golf outings. For more information or to book a tee time, give us a call at 804-749-1900 or visit online at huntinghawkgolf.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
You're not at your house. You're at a lavish seaside estate. You're not walking the dog. You're hunting for clues in an Agatha Christie mystery. See it differently with BritBox. Stream an endlessly entertaining collection of British TV, including new original series, Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
Bit awkward, really. I think I might just have solved a murder.
And Outrageous, a scandalous true story.
Seems there's a political extremist in every family these days.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox.
Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has expert technicians plus industry-leading Lennox equipment. To learn more, visit HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
Your trash is treasure at CNC Colored Recycling. From copper wire to radiator ends, cans to lead batteries, CNC Colored Recycling will pay cash or check for your unwanted scrap metal. No load is too large or too small. Don't dump it, recycle it, and get paid at CNC Colored Recycling, just south of Maple Street on Route 1 in Ashland. Free local container service is available too. CNC Colored Recycling, open every weekday and a half day on Saturday. Check the latest cash scrap prices online right now at cccullet.com. That's CCCULLET.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
From rush hour to Richmond Roar, Bob Black's voice is your sun-splashed co-pilot. Dive into all the stats, fiery takes, and the kind of energy that beats brake lights. Weekdays, 4 to 6 p.m., your drive's new favorite huddle.
Welcome back into Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday, July 9th morning. Appreciate you making us part of your morning routine. So Bill Barnwell, he ranked the best wide receiver, tight end, and running back groups heading into 2025 from 1 till 32. Now, I want you to take one massive guess on who is number one.
Jeez. Wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs?
Yep. No quarterbacks.
Probably the Eagles.
Eagles, Eagles. They are first, which makes a lot of sense, which is why you guessed them. They got an elite running back. They've got 2 elite wide receivers, and they've got a very good tight end in Dallas Goedert. Makes sense that the Eagles are number one because they've got the makings of it all. And then Bill Barnwell didn't do this, but if you sprinkle in the quarterback as well, you've got an above average quarterback that can make the right throws and kind of lift everyone up as well. So it makes sense that the Eagles are first.
Devontae is elite.
I think so.
He's good, but
I think he would be a number one on a lot of other NFL teams.
But you can be a number one and still not be elite. Like I have to question it because when I think elite, I'm like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, those guys, right?
Okay. Well then,
like I wouldn't even call.
You don't think AJ Brown's elite?
Yeah, AJ Brown's elite.
Okay, AJ Brown elite,
Yeah.
and then Devontae Smith in the role that he is playing is elite.
But he's a wide receiver too.
Yeah, but he's an elite wide receiver
is
too.
Jordan Addison elite?
No, but T. Higgins is.
See, I had to fight that. I don't think that's fair. I think I would take Addison over both of them, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I
You
love
pick
that.
Jordan Addison over Devontae Smith.
I saw when Jetta went down, I
You
saw
would take
Addison definitely step up.
over Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
I highly disagree with that. I'm gonna disagree hard with that.
That's fine.
But where do you think the Vikings fit with Justin Jefferson?
Oh, the
and
Vikings should be top 3.
Vikings with that, but they don't have a great running back, right?
Yeah, they have an okay running back.
They're sixth.
Yeah.
They are sixth because they don't really have a tight end.
Hawkinson
coming off an injury.
Jeez, man, that's kind of rough.
Aaron Jones not great.
Aaron Jones
old.
Aaron Jones has slipped a little bit.
So the Vikings are 6, probably being propped up a lot by Jordan Addison and Jettas. Second best team in the NFC East. This was a shocker to me. The Dallas Cowboys they're the second best team in the NFC East. They're 11th in the NFL. That is, they just rank ahead of the Commanders, who are 13th. The Cowboys at 11th. If we're rating wide receiver, tight end, and running back, they have one of the worst running back groups in the NFL. I guess that combo of CeeDee Lamb, who is elite, and George Pickens is lifting him up a little bit. And then Jake Ferguson, their tight end, is good enough.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't agree with the Cowboys.
If we're docking the Vikings for not having a running back.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And not like Hawkinson's coming off of an injury. Like Cowboys being 11th is way too high. I think because of how bad their running back room is. You've got Javonte Williams. You moved on from Rico Dowdle, and you've brought in Javonte Williams. The Cowboys are more like the 15th, maybe, best group.
You know what, too?
But CD is that guy.
Also, what might have skewed my Addison thing is that you can clearly see when Saquon came to the team, everybody's stats drop, which is what you would expect when you got a good running back.
When you go from passing it 50 times a game to running it 40 times a game.
And for some reason, I must have blocked out the 2 years without Saquon. I still would fight the term elite, but he's obviously very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
I think he's elite. I'll call him elite. I'm
gonna have to go back and recalibrate my definition of elite. I'm gonna do some research.
I see what you're saying. I would not put him in the upper tier of wide receiver ones.
Yeah. So for me,
Devontae is not Jamar Chase-esque.
Yeah, and when I say an elite, so in my mind, there's maybe 2 elite quarterbacks, and then everybody else is very good, right?
Yeah.
Like a Mahomes is elite. I think Burrow is pushed himself into elite with his statistics.
Over Lamar?
Lamar doesn't have the wins to go with it, man. Like he's got 2 MVPs and everything.
He's one of the most winningest regular season quarterbacks.
He has no postseason play. Elite has to be the totality of your career. It has to be the totality of everything you do. It can't just be regular season. It can't just be picked apart. It needs to be everything.
So Joe Burrow's inability to make the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but he's gotten to a Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'm just saying. And he was in MVP conversation last year.
So was Lamar. If you put Joe Burrow at elite, you have to put Lamar Jackson as elite. Yeah, what?
I don't think so.
I agree. Okay, maybe Josh Allen isn't elite. Josh Allen maybe is half a step behind him.
Allen and Lamar are knocking on the door.
No, Lamar is in the door. They have answered the door for Lamar.
Not what his postseason play says.
Yeah, but his
elite quarterbacks elevate in the postseason.
MVPs.
I know. It's great regular. Well, if we just do regular season, then he's elite.
Put him with Mike Tomlin. That's an undefeated regular season.
Mike Tomlin's elite. He's an elite regular season coach.
You give Lamar and Mike Tomlin on the same team.
I'm fighting everything today, man. I just think we need to gatekeep more with these terms, man. Everybody can't be the best, and everybody can't be great.
I would call the Eagles wide receiver room, their wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, an elite tandem.
Yes, I have no problem with that. Okay. I just think when we go individually, I would say AJ would be elite.
AJ's elite.
And Devontae's really, really good.
I don't think he's elite level wide receiver 2.
Yes, I will take
just like
that.
T. Higgins. Commanders don't have anyone elite between their wide receiver. They got Scary Terry.
I think Terry's elite.
Sorry, Terry elite. But their tight ends, not elite. Their running backs, not elite. And you only got one elite wide receiver. They knock in at 13th on the list.
That's fine. I mean, they lack a lot of big playability too. Like one thing, going back to the Eagles thing, all those guys have big playability. Yeah. AJ, Devontae, and Saquon. So that's another reason why you would consider them elite. The only big playability I think in Washington, especially last year, was Macklin. I mean, not Macklin. Sorry, McLaurin.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna need to see that from Debo. In order for that tandem, I think, to go a little higher.
Did you know Debo has never had 900 receiving yards in a single season except for his 2021 year where he had 1,400?
Yeah.
He's had that one really good breakout season.
Yeah.
Which was kind of shocking to me. I didn't realize that, granted, he's been kind of banged up, and 2021 was the only fully healthy season for Debo. But if he's not healthy this year, Washington's offense looks a lot different because you then have Harry McLaurin, Noah Brown, right?
No, Noah's going to be out.
Is Noah out for a while?
He got hurt.
Okay.
In the first OTA.
That's right. In the first, he got carted off. That was a bad injury too.
I think he'll be out for. I don't remember looking to see what happened, but usually when somebody carts you off, it's not good.
Yeah. The Commanders, if they don't have Debo, that offense looks a lot different because Zach Ertz isn't moving the needle. Austin Eckler's not moving the needle. Brian Robinson Jr. not really moving the needle. Ben Sinnott, the rookie tight end from last season, not moving the needle. Luke McCaffrey, not really moving the needle.
Yeah.
You got to hope Debo is healthy for the
majority. And if we're doing
this,
I don't think we should go past wide receiver 1 and 2.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I mean, if Debo is hurt, then all of a sudden your wide receiver 3 becomes wide receiver 2. And Debo has a history of being hurt.
I think Lane will take a big role.
Yeah, Jalen Lane there's some.
And that's optimism before the season starts, obviously.
Before training camp even
just
starts.
Because they need a big playmaker. Like they need somebody that when they get the ball, it puts fear in people's heart. They're going to get yards after the catch. That's really Debo's superpowers. He's going to get yards after the catch. So if he's not 100% or if he's not playing at a elite level, then I think Lane would be the next guy I would look for to step up.
And last in the NFC East, as you would expect, the New York Giants. They're 26th.
Not because of Neighbors.
Neighbors is the reason that they are 26th.
Yeah, I know, right? They should be 30.
They should be 32nd because you look at what they got, and they got a bunch of nothing. Last year, they ranked 29th. So Neighbors brings them up a little bit.
That's pretty good, man. To bring him up 3 spots as a rookie. He was good.
He racked up 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns as a rookie. Tell me who was throwing him passes last year.
He also probably got the highest percentage of targets of anybody on any team too.
Yes.
Probably like 85%.
It was insane. They were just like, man, Neighbors down there somewhere.
No, the 2 games I saw against the Commanders, I know for a fact, especially when they were in Landover, they were feeding him the ball. Yeah. I think he had like 17 targets that game.
He was balling. He is balling. He's going to be a top end wide receiver.
Yeah.
Before we get to break here, Albert Breer is tweeting about the new Washington Commanders jerseys. He's saying bank on these becoming permanent next season. Much like how the Jets had their 80s throwbacks as alternates 2 years ago. They then became permanent the next year. Albert Breer is expecting these alternate jerseys, these alternate throwbacks, to become the Commanders' full-time jerseys next season.
Blended together, man.
Hey, fit for old DC.
Still think the helmet should be retweaked a little bit, though.
Yeah, so does everyone in the comments.
Yeah, not the logo, but the coloring of the helmet. I think they could have did something different with that.
Yeah, probably. On the other side of this break, Chris Canty said something pretty crazy about Dak Prescott that we've got to dive into when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys as they head into the season. That's all coming up right here on Fitz the Bill.
Summertime in RVA means one thing. Golf season is here. If you're looking for the perfect golf course, head over to Queenfield Golf Club, located just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville. Queenfield offers a beautifully secluded 18-hole course, spacious driving range, and professionally maintained practice greens and bunkers. Schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve a spot online at queenfieldgolf.com and make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite course.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Amber and Ian.
One of them has one eye. Very famously, Snippy has one eye. Snippy came to us with one eye. He had a very rough life, clearly, before us. And because of that, he's got the tenacity. He's been through the adversity. So he is the last man standing.
For a county fair fish to hold on for 5 or 6 months, you guys are doing something right.
I feel like we are.
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on Sirius XM Channel 80. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
He's got Derrick Henry. He's got other weapons. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. The defense took a big step up last year, and now you add Jair Alexander. You have a head coach who's won a Super Bowl. If it's not Lamar Jackson, I don't know who has more pressure on him heading into this season.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Score big with the 106.1 ESPN app. Listen live anywhere. Crystal clear coverage, breaking news, and Richmond's rowdiest sports debates. Tap in and turn it up.
Welcome back in. Commanders have also now released the games that they will be wearing their throwback jerseys in. Got 3 games on the docket this season. 2 of them on Sunday Night Football. Week 9 against the Seahawks. Week 13 against Denver. And then they'll be wearing them in their Christmas game against the Dallas Cowboys on, you guessed it, December 25th. So a lot of people expecting these jerseys also to become permanent after this season. Little test run. We did get a text in earlier. Which NFL helmet logo is the most untouchable and will never be revised? Number 1, the texter said Raiders. Then down the list was Packers, Cowboys, Vikings, Steelers, and an honorable mention of the Browns because, well, there's nothing to change. I would argue the one thing you could change with the Cleveland Browns is changing their orange helmet to brown. That one just feels like a dunk. We could just do that. That'd be an easy change, and it would make more sense.
Well, the Browns are just funny, man. Even they're like they were
only team named after a human.
Like the dog pound and the dog stuff, and then their logo is
leprechaun,
like a leprechaun. Yeah, like what? I was like, where'd that come from?
Then they're named after Paul Brown, who also owned the Cincinnati Bengals.
Even in their marketing, they're dysfunctional. I thought the Colts was another one where it's like it's so iconic you don't want to touch it.
Yeah, they have slightly changed it though over the years. Like it has changed a little bit.
The Raiders and Cowboys are two that absolutely you can't
change the
It
star.
has to be the star and it has to be
a winking pirate.
Yeah.
And then the Packers, you can't change the Packers because it's a G.
Yeah. Although if they added like a cheese or something on there, like something cheese related, it probably would still stick.
All right, but they wouldn't change the logo. Maybe you add make it look cheesy, but it's still the G. Vikings, I could see them changing. Get a completely new Viking. I don't think there's enough. Maybe there's a random Minnesota Viking fan out there that's going to take umbrage with what I'm about to say. I don't think there's enough history with Minnesota for them to be like, this is our Viking. Like I think the Viking could change.
Yeah, I don't see that being necessarily an issue. Maybe if they bit off a little bit of the like Buccaneer or the Patriot when he was snapping the football. They did something similar like that with a Viking. I don't think that would be a bad thing.
I think you would put Steelers above the Vikings. Vikings at 5, Steelers at 4, because the Steelers will never change that logo.
And they shouldn't. Yeah, that's iconic for sure.
That is another icon in football. Another icon in football. Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, though, the Cowboys, they've got Dak Prescott back. He said where
did he go?
he was working with a hamstring injury for quite some time. He said at his own like little football camp, you know how these NFL players hold their football camps,
which I appreciate.
They're always fun. He held his own down in South Lake, Texas, and he was asked about his health. And he said he's ready to go. He's quote full go for training camp. Chris Canty, though, on the show that leads into us sometimes on Sportsmanlike, did talk about what he thinks the Cowboys should do with Dak Prescott.
So there's an issue in terms of whether or not this team can get to where they want to go. And of course, Dak Prescott, if the Cowboys are going to compete for a title, has to be a big reason why. And I'm just not quite sure based on the injuries and the lack of productivity in the postseason that he's ever going to be that version. And if not, do the Cowboys consider pivoting when it comes to QB1 in 2026? I get it. Dak has a full no trade clause.
Yes.
But from a numbers standpoint, there is a scenario where it becomes palatable for the Cowboys to move off of Dak Prescott if Dak Prescott would be willing to waive his no trade clause. If you're the Cowboys, if Dak can't get you where you want to go this season, that's something that you have to think long and hard about.
That is horrible.
Could I just say, this is why knowing the contracts a little bit is important, because in 2026, Dak Prescott is a $74 million cap hit. In 2027, he's a $68 million cap hit. If you released him, he's $129 million in dead cap in 2026. He's $55 million, which is kind of along the lines of Romo, and dead cap in 2027. They don't have an out for his contract until right before the 2028 season. So what he's saying is essentially really, really bad business, even for the Cowboys. Really, really bad business.
And it would be bad business for whatever team that would want to trade.
Yeah, who would want
contract.
that? Who would want that on their books?
Also, do you like this team has the cornerstones to be a top end team in the NFL, right? An elite level wide receiver, a very good quarterback. I mean, he is a top 7 quarterback, top 8 quarterback when healthy.
Yeah, he's top 10 when healthy.
He's a quarterback that you could win a Super Bowl with. That's for dang sure. You have the best edge in the NFL right now in Micah Parsons. Plus, he's young. The issue is Jerry Jones just has to get off his checkbook, actually open it up and pay these players and be ahead of the curve. They find themselves in cap hell each and every year because he waits until the 11th hour to sign these guys where they have all the leverage, where Dak Prescott is a $70+ million cap hit next season.
Yeah, double tag.
The
double
tag.
The
double tap. It's just, if you traded Dak, I don't trust that front office enough to go out and luck their way into another quarterback. And it's a Cowboys team that is really poised to, now it's a lot of ifs that have to hit, but if Schottenheimer is a good coach, Dak Prescott stays healthy. This is a Cowboys team that could find themselves in the mix of the NFC East this year. But if they traded Dak, they would be in purgatory forever. Like, Dak is what's keeping them kind of above that line.
What are you more confident in? Dak being healthy or Schottenheimer being a good coach?
Dak being healthy.
All right. That's what I was thinking too. Like Dallas's issue is they've never had a complete team. They've had weapons, they've had
the
things.
cornerstones.
Yeah, they've had the foundation, but when they had the foundation, they didn't necessarily have it on the sidelines. When they got it on the sideline, they didn't necessarily have it on the field. As like it hasn't all truly come together for the Cowboys since probably 2016 when it was 2016 to 2017 whenever Dak and Zeke first hit the scene.
Yeah.
And they were just prolific
because they got lucky with 2 rookie contracts.
Yeah, they were clicking.
Not elite players, but
and then it was the issue with the postseason. Like that's something that I don't know if that's the sideline or just the team in general. Dak has not performed at a high level in the postseason. Some of it also is I feel like they put too much on him. Like there are certain quarterbacks that you can win with them, but you got to manage it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So like when the Rams got to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, they didn't go, Jared Goff, win this game for us. They did everything to allow themselves to be in the position to not ask Jared Goff to win the game. Everybody else win this game for us. Jared Goff, don't lose the game for us.
Yeah.
Cowboys are asking Dak to win games when they need to be asking Dak to not lose games, if that makes sense.
Yes, 100%. And but like they should not trade him.
No, you can't get away from quarterbacks that you can win with for whatever's out there on the market or in the draft, because there's a lot of not good enough people out there.
And he's a quarterback that his game is going to age. He doesn't rely on mobility. He doesn't rely on any of that. He is a typical pocket passer who can read the defense extremely well. And for the most part, he knows what he's doing. And he's a guy that you can probably have. He's 31 right now. He'll likely be able to go for another 5 years or so at a high level, and you can try to maximize those next 5 years. Is it with Schottenheimer? Maybe, but the key isn't Dak. It's not Schottenheimer. It's Jerry Jones, right? Like it's Jerry Jones not knowing how to properly build a team, and that front office not knowing how to capitalize on having a elite level wide receiver, a great quarterback, a elite level edge rusher. You've got the cornerstones. Just go put it together now.
And with him having a no trade clause, it just makes it super difficult. And
that ain't happening.
And there'll have to be a lot of restructuring of that contract.
And a lot of eating money for the Cowboys.
For the Cowboys, it's not worth it. Like that's kind of ridiculous coming from a former player to suggest that. I expect that from somebody like us who've never been on the business side of things. Nobody's trading a 24% cap hit.
We got a text that says Dak ain't top 10. Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow, Lamar, Allen, Jaden, Stafford. Then this texter says Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, and Jordan Love, all easily better. I do not think Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, and Jordan Love are better than Dak Prescott. Then this texter said Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert, Geno Smith, and CJ Stroud over Dak Prescott as well.
Yeah.
I maybe Justin Herbert. I'm a Herbert guy. CJ Stroud, after last season, not being able to overcome a bad offensive line, jury's still out on him. I would take Dak over Brock Purdy in a heartbeat. I would take Dak over Geno Smith in a heartbeat. I would take Dak over Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, and Jordan Love.
I mean, the hard part of doing something like this is you got Dak Prescott's been in the league for almost a decade, and some of these guys have only been in the league for like 3-4 years. But if you look at Dak's, let's do Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's made it further than Dak Prescott. Like he's had more postseason success in his short time as a starting quarterback, but statistically, I don't think he measures to Dak Prescott.
He's had a better team than Dak Prescott.
Herbert, I'm on record all the time saying Herbert's grossly overrated by fans and pundits.
Hater.
No, man. Like the stuff we trash Dak for, Herbert gets a pass for some reason.
I can venture out and guess a reason.
Yeah, for some reason he gets a pass. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. The other names, sure, Jordan Love. They're still the book's being written on Jordan Love. Why are we assuming he's better than Dak Prescott? Again, I don't think there's enough statistical foundation there for that argument. And then the postseason success has been kind of minimal for Jordan Love. He's got at least a win, and it came against the Cowboys. But I think a lot of people
was bad last year.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think a lot of people would say it was bad. A lot of people think CJ Stroud took a massive step back his second season. Don't know what to expect his third season. And Geno Smith is a retread.
Hey.
Not knocking Geno, but come on, man. That's disrespectful to Dak. Dak has had some conversations where people have been like, oh, he's played like an MVP level. Geno just started having those conversations like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe.
Like, yeah, I would agree. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, this is
the ones that we know for sure.
Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Lamar, Allen, Jaden. I would put Stafford over him, so that would put him at about 8th.
Yeah, that's why I said top 10.
Yeah, and it gives you a little playroom. If you could not look me in the face and say Baker Mayfield, you would take over Dak Prescott. Baker Mayfield was 1 second away from being out of the NFL. He was traded from the Panthers across the country to the Rams. And Texter said, you didn't watch Baker last year, man. Yeah, you're right.
You didn't watch Baker his whole career then, apparently.
Yeah, Baker was.
We can't go.
Baker was really good. Baker has been great with the Bucs. It has been a resurgence for Baker Mayfield. But I'm looking at an entire career. And if I had to win a game tomorrow, I'm taking Dak Prescott over Baker Mayfield easily. I'm not even thinking twice about that one. Baker Mayfield, he's a volatile quarterback who is nearly out of the league. And he has had a fantastic resurgence due to the coaching of Dave Canales and Liam Cohen and what Todd Bowles has put into place with that culture down there in Tampa. But Baker Mayfield is not better than Dak Prescott.
Yeah, the last 2 years for Baker have been great. Again, you look at the totality of his career, like you said, he was pretty much on his way out the league. It's been a great resurgence, but it's the same thing with Geno. Like at one point, he was out the league. Like you got two guys on there that have had resurgent careers, and Dak Prescott has been a mainstay in Dallas and essentially in the NFL. I just think that's kind of disrespectful because again, 2-year sample, but you look at that a career sample is significantly better than Baker.
Texter said Baker's 2-3 in playoffs. Dak is 2-5 with the same team. Y'all drinking that cowboy Kool-Aid. I don't know about all that. Sure, Baker's has a better record. They have the same amount of wins. Dak has had more opportunities to lose. Baker also, there was never a point where we questioned if Dak Prescott was a good enough quarterback to be in the NFL.
That's where I'm getting at.
Like Baker had a good run with the Cleveland Browns. And I'm a Baker guy. I like Baker Mayfield. I think he was shorted by the Cleveland Browns. I think he was playing through an injury to try and help the Cleveland Browns. But then his shoulder essentially was not working. They cut bait with him because they wanted Deshaun Watson. It's a mess in Cleveland, and he overcame that. Then he suffered a lot in Carolina. They trade him. Did he go from there to
he went to the Rams overnight and won a game?
Yeah. Then goes and wins a game.
Which is phenomenal, by the way.
Then signs a very team-friendly contract because the NFL thought he was done. Then he finds a resurgence with Canales, with Liam Cohen. I'm not taking anything away from Baker Mayfield, but if you're citing playoff record for why Baker Mayfield is better than Dak Prescott when they have the same amount of playoff wins, no. The only reason y'all thought that was, this is what the texter's saying. The only reason y'all thought that was because of how the Browns treated him. We judging QBs on their performance in Cleveland now. I literally just said he was good. You probably text. I'm
not texting, but I'm going to judge you on your career. Unfortunately, like the same way I had to judge Geno for his time with the Jets. I'm sorry, it was an impossible situation. A lot of people would have failed.
I also just said he overcame a lot in Cleveland and he looked good, but I just could not take Baker Mayfield. Like if you put Baker Mayfield and Dak Prescott in front of me and you said you're drafting a team right now who can go out tomorrow and win, I am taking Dak Prescott.
In their current form, coming out of college, Baker was better. Got to clarify that.
Which is why Baker was the number one overall draft pick, and Dak Prescott was like a fifth rounder. Like, 100%.
But I just don't. Again, the totality of the career, I'm not going to go with Baker being better than
you.
Dak.
Put Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love in front of me. I'm going Dak Prescott to win a game.
Yeah, and people hate Dak Prescott because he wears the star, and they also hate him as fans because they don't have the postseason success.
And he's not a flashy quarterback.
Yeah, and I get all that, but to act like he's can't play at all or he's just absolutely terrible. There's a lot of bad quarterbacks in the league, and I don't think he's in that realm of bad quarterback.
No, He's not in that realm of bad quarterback. Baker Mayfield's also not in that realm of bad quarterback.
Yeah, doesn't mean I think he's elite again, because I'm gatekeeping that. I think we give that out too much.
Baker Mayfield has a career record of 50-53. And I know wins aren't fully a quarterback stat, but come on, man. He's 4 games above 500 in his time in Tampa. He went 1-5 in Carolina, 1-3 with the Rams. He went 29-30 in 4 years with the Browns. He's not a bona fide winner. And I like Baker Mayfield.
Between 10 and 20. We just said he was like lower echelon of top 10, no higher than 8. You said he's between 10 and 20. So what's the argument?
Dak Prescott, I would argue, is the 8th best quarterback in the NFL.
I don't know if I can truly say I could put 10 definitively over him.
That's what I'm saying.
But
those were the
but my argument would be around 8, 9, and 10. It's not going to be any higher than 8 either.
No, because again, I think Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow, Lamar, Allen, Jaden, and Stafford are all better, and I think he's above Goff, Mayfield, Love, Purdy, Herbert, Geno, and Stroud right now on July 9th, 2025. Just wild that you would. Yeah, I'm not saying it. Yeah. Baker Mayfield, man. Then didn't think he'd get me riled up on a Wednesday morning on July 9th.
It's just how fans are in the NFL. They're all guilty of it, but
got a text. Are you going to take that greedy contract?
That's not
what
greedy.
We're not going to do is call an NFL player greedy for getting the money that he deserves.
Mind you, didn't he get hurt on the franchise tag?
He got hurt. His bone was poking out of his ankle
on the franchise tag, correct?
On the franchise tag.
When he was rolling that year too.
I think this texter, are you going to take that greedy contract? I think that's a Cowboys fan that's mad that they're cap strapped. It's not Dak's fault that Jerry Jones doesn't know how to manage salaries.
That's definitely not his fault.
Take advantage of a owner that doesn't know how to work deals out before they become do or die.
CD didn't give you a discount. Micah is not going to give you a discount,
as they should not.
Yeah, and Dak didn't either.
Discounts are what you do when you're 35 and you're looking to win a Super Bowl one last time. You only get so many cracks at a contract. Get as much money as you possibly can.
And you just had like that ankle injury on that. I think it was the ankle on the franchise tag. You better get your guarantee.
Look, I never question a player getting as much money as they can, because me, as a sports talk radio host, I'm going to look for as much money as humanly possible.
Of course.
Like, if a job came tomorrow and they said, we will quadruple your salary, I'd be like, Alan, I'm going to have to think long and hard about this one. And Alan would probably tell me, you're an idiot if you don't take a quadrupled salary.
I would probably tell you.
And he'd say, can you bring me? Can you bring me?
Yeah.
Like, you want money in life. You go to a new job because it offers you more opportunity to grow and more money. That is why you leave a job. And so why should NFL players be held to a higher standard just because they're making millions of dollars?
And again, this is not woe is me, we should have sympathy for Dak type of talk. It's just, again, I think we should gatekeep where we put people. And I don't think that we should call good players elite. And I don't think we should call good players bad either. Like,
Dak is a quarterback you can win a Super Bowl with. Dak is not a quarterback that you can win a Super Bowl because of.
I think that's fair.
And Baker Mayfield is a quarterback you can win a Super Bowl with. He's not a quarterback you can win a Super Bowl because of. And those are the different echelons, the different tiers of football players. Mahomes, he's a quarterback that you can win a Super Bowl because of. Look at last year. I know they lost in the Super Bowl, but he willed them there. Their leading receiver was me. He got them to the Super Bowl. He's a quarterback you can win because of. Lamar Jackson is a quarterback you can win because of. Dak and Baker are quarterbacks you can win with, which is just as good. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl for goodness
Brock
sake.
Purdy's a quarterback you can win with. I'm not expecting him to win because, but God, if we do, I'll celebrate it all the same.
Yeah. So
need that Nick Foles lightning in the bottle, man.
That was a great conversation. I appreciate the texter for getting that going. Thank you so much. If you ever want to get us riled up, 804-327-0888. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place on your dial.
We completely missed our last break because of that. But
it's wow, we did?
Yeah, it's all good.
My bad.
No, it's
Thank
all
you,
good.
texter. Make us miss more breaks. That's all I got to ask.
No.
Yeah, they would not be happy upstairs.
It's all good, man. Good conversation, though.
Great conversation. Ben Shelton gets going in about 2 minutes from court 1 at Wimbledon, going up against world number 1 Yannick Sinner. You can find that on either ESPN, ESPN2, or ESPNU. Catch that as Ben Shelton looks to punch his ticket to the semifinals, joining Taylor Fritz, the other American who is there now. And we got Braves baseball tonight over in Sacramento as they take on the Athletics. And between now and then, keep it locked on the spot where RVA talks sports. Coming up next, we got Clinton and friends from 10 until noon. Joe and Q take you through the afternoon from 12 until 3. Then we are back right here, live and local. Matt Josephs with Border to Border from 3 until 4. Bob Black joins them at 4 with the Mashup Hour from 4 until 5. And then Bob Black takes you right on home with the Sports Huddle until 6. For now, that's going to do it for Fitz the Bill. I've been Jack Fitzpatrick. Alan here as well. A wonderful Wednesday. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. Dak Prescott, folks, if there's one thing you take away from today, it's Dak Prescott is not greedy. Dak Prescott just took advantage of a bad owner. It's that simple. It is that simple. Same time, same place tomorrow, 106.1 ESPN.
Your home for the memories.